Chris Straub with Straub Technologies, and we're here to talk about some LS and some LT head gaskets. Now, if I told you that changing your head gaskets on your LS or your LT motor would gain you RPM and horsepower, you'd probably call BS. But hey, when it's a professional racing circuit that has tested this and perfected this gasket, then you can trust what we're about to talk about is legit. So the LS platform was built to meet EPA standards, and back then GM had to beat the fuel economy and the emissions quantity, the emissions rules and the EPA emissions and fuel economy standards set by the EPA. So what they did was, and the way you do that is you keep heat in the combustion chamber. Well, how do you keep heat in the combustion chamber? Well, you restrict the water to it. If you look at your LS block that's sitting in that Camaro or that pickup truck out, all the cooling holes on the deck of the block are there. If you look at the cylinder head, all the cooling holes are in that cylinder head. But if you look at the head gasket, those holes are blocked off. We also have on the LS and the LT the off-gassing vents, or for lack of a better term or just slang, we call them the steam lines. That's because the LS runs at a much hotter temperature, and due to the fact that there is no water behind the combustion chamber, so they run at a much higher temperature. In one of the professional forms of racing, they had gone to a spec engine for it, based on an LS platform. Well, they had issues as far as with the engines on the dynos and stuff. So doing the research, they found as far as the LS and the cooling problems that the LS was having, but it was due to what the government mandated on these rules by the EPA. So by adding holes to the head gaskets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 7 holes per bank allowed water to come up behind the combustion chamber. Well, what this did was it actually cooled the combustion chamber. The engines gained 700 RPM and they gained 18 horsepower. And if you'll bolt these head gaskets on your LS, you'll notice the temperature gauge will go down an average of 18 to 20 degrees. So the engine actually runs cooler. Now, for those that are around the LS and you're searching these forums, you see the LSs have a real bad problem of dropping exhaust seats. Well, if there's no water behind those exhaust seats and it's really hot, this head gasket might just help solve that problem from dropping exhaust seats. So if you're building a boosted motor, you're building one with a heavy nitrous application, and you're worried about dropping exhaust seats, well, these head gaskets at a cost of $70 a piece, that $140 could save you that $10,000 boosted motor. Well, after doing the LS platform, John Callies and I were talking, and John looked at the LT, and the LT has the same deal. They limit the water to the top of the heads. So John took the LT head gaskets, and we've modified the LT gaskets with his design. Now, the LTs are sold in a pair. They come with an instruction sheet. They come with a little bit of hardware that has to be added, but it's nothing that a do-it-yourselfer can't do in his own. As long as you've got a rat tail file and a little bit of sandpaper, that's all you've got to do. And it's a complete instruction sheet on how to mount these head gaskets. And again, these are sold as a kit, because that's the way they have to come. John's LT and his testing, again, it dropped almost 20 degrees cooling as far as the car goes. So whether you're a guy with a late model LT or you're a guy with an LS motor and you want more horsepower and a cooler running engine, you can contact Straub Technologies at www.straubtechnologies.com and look at our selection of head gaskets. We have both large bore and small bore for both engines. Now, if you're a custom engine builder and you're building a specific engine and you need these things punched, hey, we'll punch your head gaskets. Send us the head gaskets. We'll price it out based on quantity, and we'll punch your head gaskets so that you can put them on your motors. Thank you. And remember, at Straub Technologies, we don't build engines, we build combinations.